Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know what you're thinking. It's been a whole almost 24 hours since the schedule has been released, and Rodney hasn't told you his win-loss prediction yet. Well, strap in, fasten your seatbelts, because you're going to have to wait like another 2 months. I'm not one of these lunatics. Now, look. Okay, hold on. I don't want to get too mean and aggressive. I will look at the schedule and go, smells like 8 wins. But I'm not going to come on here as a, Raider YouTuber. I don't know how I ended up here, but here I am talking to you with ring lights in my face. And responsibly tell you these are my predictions before training camp has even started. Now, there is content to mine. I get it. And people got to pay their bills and feed the family. But there's a level of responsibility that I think I have on this channel that appeals to people that are looking for something a little more specific with their Raider content and a little more truthful. And making a win-loss prediction video, again, May 15th. Happy birthday to my friend Silas and to my friend James. They have birthdays on the same day. Isn't that crazy? And they roommate together in college. Crazy. I'm not making a win-loss prediction video. It's not happening right now. It will happen. And I'm sure people are going to bring up the last year I said we were going to go 10-7. I made those predictions with Aiden O'Connell in mind. I drank the Kool-Aid. I apologize. I'll never do it again. Okay? For my win-loss prediction video history, I think I'm like, how long have I been doing this? This will probably be like my 5th year making win-loss predictions. I think I'm like 3-2. Meaning, like, I was basically right around the right number 3 times. 2 times I drank the Josh McDaniels Kool-Aid, and I drank the AP Kool-Aid. And I'll never make that mistake again. That's on me. I apologize for doing that. All that to say, I do like evaluating the schedule from this perspective. What are the elite units that we play? How many elite offenses do we play? How many elite defense do we play? Where do we have the advantage at quarterback? Where do we have the advantage at head coach / coaching staff? Because then you can start moving the pieces together to say, here's a chunk of wins, here's a chunk of losses, here's that gray area where you either make or miss the playoffs. Because this team feels like the ceiling is what? The ceiling is like 10 wins, the floor is like 7 wins. That feels correct. If some rookies play better than their standard, then we can get a little bit higher. If Geno Smith plays even better than he has before, we can get a little higher. We'll see what happens. But I want to talk a little bit about the schedule, and I got to pull it up here. Now, before we get into the schedule and those evaluations I talked about, because I think the quarterback advantage games, I think there's 5 of them, are going to be the key to us making or missing the playoffs. I think that's probably where we're going to land here. Before all that, though, let me cut back to myself. I want to tell you real quick, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. 53% are subscribed that always watch these videos. About 45% of you that watch this video, or 46%, are not yet subscribed. If you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 13th thou. It would help this channel out tremendously. I appreciate you. Also, linked in the description below is my Patreon, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. For $5 a month, nothing. You get your name at the end of the credits, like these beautiful people right here. You get exclusive content, never before seen on YouTube, never going to be uploaded on YouTube. Ad-free content for $10 a month. You get videos days in advance, all that good stuff. All these people are my EPs of the channel. They make this channel run because they've signed up for that $5 tier. We're at 31 members right now. Let's get to 35. Why not us? Let's talk about the schedule here, because it feels like a favorable schedule, although I didn't like the idea that we only have one section right here. Where's my cursor? Oh, we can't pull it up on OBS. I apologize. The Dallas and Browns games are the only games where we have home games back-to-back, which is interesting. But, okay, I just want to talk about a couple games right here. I'm going to go through each game. I'm not going to do that yet. I'll talk about the quarterback advantages at the very end. Right now, I want to talk about the elite units that we're going against. Now, I'm going to say this right off the top. right out the gate. The Chiefs' offense is no longer elite. It's good, can be great, but when they're not healthy, when their offensive line does not play up to its standard, and with Travis Kelce being a shell of himself, at least in the regular season, their offense is not elite anymore. Their defense might be elite. Their offense is not. So that's my blanket statement right up the gate. So I'm not counting them with the elite offenses. If you look at the entirety of this schedule, I think there's one true blue elite offense we go up against. Now, this is on paper, May 15th. And that true blue elite offense is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think without question, that's the hardest game on the schedule, right? No doubt about it. The Commanders' offense was very good with shades of great last year. I'm not going to, however, predict that they're going to take the next step because you just don't know with these second-year quarterbacks. We're playing a lot of them. We're playing Caleb Williams and Drake May, okay, and Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels was awesome last year. We'll see if they can keep that level, that standard. So with all the games on the schedule, I think it's pretty safe to say there's only one elite offense that we have to go up against, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. So we caught a good break there. That means that our defense, which is going to have some problems this year, especially at the linebacker position and probably the cornerback position as well, it's not going to have to play lights out to keep us in a lot of these games like it did the Josh McDaniels AP year or like it did last year. But it's still going to have to, it's got its hands full with the Chiefs, who are still a good offense. The Chargers are a good offense, right? We'll see what Ben Johnson does with the Bears. We'll see how C.J. Stroud bounces back from kind of a sophomore slumpish type season. The Cowboys have C.D. Lamb and George Pickens. Like, these aren't pushovers. But in terms of the elite offensive teams, there's only one. Now, defensively, that's where you start to run into some problems because you have to assume the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos are all going to have good to great defenses. The Broncos' offense is probably elite. The Commanders' offense, did I say offense? I meant defense. All that I'm talking about is defense. The Commanders' defense wasn't great last year, but Dan Quinn's probably going to figure that out. The Patriots signed a lot of defensive players. A couple of them were our players, Spillane and Epps, and Vrabel's a defensive guy. Again, we're looking for the elite defenses. You probably got the Broncos. You got to play them twice. The Eagles' defense is really good. This schedule is defense heavy because you assume that the Chargers and the Broncos, like I said, are going to have the good defenses. Chiefs are going to have a good defense. The Giants got better with Abdul Carter. D'Amico Ryans is coaching them up down in Dallas. Dennis Allen with the Chicago Bears, their defense is good. There's a lot of tough defenses here. So if we want to really make a move here on this schedule and win some games we shouldn't, it's going to have to be because the offense is able to outperform the defenses on this schedule. Because like I said, our defense isn't going to be great. It's going to be okay, probably. They only have to go up against one elite offense, and that's the Eagles. We're going to have to go up against a lot of stellar defenses, a lot that are in our division, and we're going to have to make sure that we get Ashton Genty and Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers and Jack Besh and Geno and the offensive line all on the same page. And this is why you go out and hire Chip Kelly, who is the highest offensive coordinator salary-wise in the National Football League. So that's kind of where I see like the breakdown of the tough defenses and the tough offenses and how they mix and mesh together. Where do we have the quarterback advantage? So let's go through these games here. Now, right out of the gate, I'm just going to say this. It's going to be hard for me to say Geno Smith is definitely better than Drake May or Caleb Williams. And it's going to also be hard for me to say that he's worse. We just don't know how these rookies who played okay last year are going to take their second step. So I'm going to eliminate all these second-year rookies, except for Jaden Daniels, from the conversation. I'm going to eliminate all of them. They're not better than Geno. They're not worse than Geno. Those are pushes. So let's start at week 2. Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Geno Smith. Obviously, we all know that. Jaden Daniels is better. I would say that Geno Smith is better than Anthony Richardson, so that's one advantage. Rookie quarterbacks, we got the advantage there. Geno's better than Cam Ward at this moment in time. Obviously not better than the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence, I think at this moment in time, for one season, you'd rather have Geno Smith than Trevor Lawrence. Bo Nix is that second-year rookie. He played pretty well last year. Again, I'm not going to count any of these second-year guys, so the Broncos games are a wash. Dak's better than Geno. Any quarterback that the Browns start is not going to be as good as Geno, so that's 4. Jalen Hurts is better. C.J. Stroud is better. Jackson Dart's a rookie, or Jameis or Russ. All those guys are not as good as Geno, and then the Chiefs are the Chiefs with Mahomes. So that's 5 teams, 5 games where we have the distinct quarterback advantage. That is, where are we? That was the Colts, the Titans, the Jags. You can argue with me on that. The Browns and the Giants. If you go 5-0 in those games, hypothetically, again, this is not a win-loss prediction video. This is just me breaking this stuff down. If you go 5-0 in those games, right, then you split in your division. That's 8 wins. Now you got to steal one of these teams that I didn't give you, like the Patriots or like the Bears, right? Teams that we could be better than, but I didn't count those as quarterback advantages. So if you split the division games, right, and you go 5-0 in those quarterback advantage games, you have a decent chance of making the playoffs. Even if you go 4-1, let's say you lose to the Jags. It's a weird game, right? The problem is if you start to slip in those quarterback advantage games that I'm calling them, if you go 3-0 against the Giants, the Titans, and the Jags, but you lose to the, let's pull it up here again, you lose to the Colts and you lose to the Browns, right? Again, I'm just picking out random games. Now you're 3-2. You split the division games. Now you're 6-5 instead of 8-4, and you got to steal like a Texans game and a Patriots game and a Bears game, right? Now, there's a chance you will go better than 3-3 in your division, but last year we were 0 whatever, right? Did we win a single division game last year? No. Now, the odds initially for us win-loss was 6.5. I think it's now raised to 7.5. It's hard for me to predict the record for this team just initially in my head because you have to assume that we are leaps and bounds better than we were last year. Now, last year we only won 4 games, but I think we all agree that if Aiden O'Connell starts all 17 games, maybe we win 5 or 6. Let's just say we win 5 games instead of 4 if Aiden starts the whole year. This team that we put together now with Spytek and Brady and Carroll and Geno Smith and Ashton Genty and Besh and the revamped offensive line, and we lost some defensive players, not that about it. This team is only 2 wins better than that team. It's hard for me to admit that, but maybe we did truly get worse on defense than initially we had thought. Or initially we thought we were going to be. We thought we were going to be able to re-sign a couple of guys like a Spillane or a Hobbs, right? And we didn't. Let me see what let's see. Raiders win-loss prediction 2025. Let's see what some people are saying here before we get on out of here. I think this could be interesting to kind of do a deep dive. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I got a live stream on Bleacher Report and I don't like to oh, what is this? The Raiders are projected to have a 9-8 record in 2025 according to several sources. ESPN and Fox predict them 9-8. Sports Illustrated predicts them at 8-9 and 10-7. Some analysts believe the Raiders could win more than 10 games with the potential for 11. Wow, okay. So there's some people that are really going all in on the Raiders here. Okay, so let's do Fox Sports and we'll do ESPN because I don't want to do Raiders Wire because I feel like it could be a little bit of bias in there, but you never know. Maybe we'll check them out at the end. Okay, so let's check out. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's see what they say. Do they go game by game? Okay, Eric D. Williams, 7-10. With the culture building head coach who brings the championship pedigree, the Raiders should be more competent and competitive. However, they will not hide their deficiencies at linebacker in the secondary along with the offensive line. I don't agree that the offensive line is a big deficiency. I think it's going to be a little bit better, but I too agree with the defensive side of the ball there. Las Vegas could struggle to consistently score on offense when teams take away tight end Brock Bowers and lower the box to contain rookie figure on Ashton Genty. I have concerns about how the Raiders will hold up in the back end of the defense, but Carroll and the Raiders will find a way to hover around the 500 mark. Carroll had just 4 losing seasons in 18 years as head coach. That's crazy. Okay, so 7-10 says Fox Sports. I don't disagree with that. ESPN here, Ryan McFadden. Let's see what he's saying. Over under 6.5. Bold prediction. The Raiders will go into by 4-3. Interesting. So there's no record predictions. Let's see the biggest takeaway. The Raiders have a brutal travel schedule early. They head to the East Coast in 2 of the first 3 weeks of the season. After Las Vegas season's opener road game against the Patriots, the team will be at home for week 2 before traveling to the East to play the Commanders. Furthermore, the schedule doesn't do the Raiders justice down the stretch. 5 of their last 6 games are against teams that made the playoffs in 2024, including Super Bowl participants, the Eagles and the Chiefs. Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. I thought there was going to be a record prediction in here, though. I would like to see one more before we hop out of here. Okay, well, in mid-May, I believe the Raiders' best case is 10-7. The worst case is 8-9. Okay, I understand that. Let's do Raiders. All right, we'll throw them a bone here. Levi, he probably goes game by game, right? Yep. 1-0 against the Patriots. 2-0 against the Chargers. Lose to the Commanders. Lose to the Bears. That's interesting. Beat the Colts. Beat the Titans. Lose to the Chiefs 4-3. I think that's realistic. 3-4 might be where I'm leaning, though. At that point, I'm going to move my face down here now to cover the ad. 3-4 might be where I'm leaning, but I don't know. We'll see. Jacksonville, beat them 5-3. Lose to Denver 5-4. Beat Dallas. Interesting. 6-4. 7-4 against the Browns. 7-5 against the Chargers. Beat the Broncos, so we split those games. Lose to the Eagles. Lose to Houston. Beat the Giants. Lose to the Chiefs 9-8. Yeah, that's realistic, too. Look. I'm going to be live on Bleacher Report, if you're watching this on Thursday, to break this down in depth here. I just think those quarterback advantage games are going to be really key for all of us when we're watching these games. Now, if Richardson takes a big leap, like, again, this is May 15th. This is why I don't want to just go win-loss. We just don't know. There's injuries that could happen, that will happen, right? Could be to us, knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't happen. There's people playing a lot better than you expected, people playing a lot worse. There's scheme fits, there's coaches being fired, all that stuff. Maybe the Chiefs are not that good. Maybe the Broncos are not that good. Maybe the Broncos are way better than anyone expected. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But comment below your thoughts. That's kind of my schedule breakdown. Like I said before, if you want to become an executive producer of the channel, like all these beautiful people, you got to join the Patreon. Link is in the description below, or go to patreon.com/ALLaBorde. Also, join my Discord. Link is in the description of every single video that I upload. It's a free group chat with all the people that subscribe to this channel that want to talk Raiders. There's like 160 members. I lowballed it. I said like 130. There's like 160. So join the Discord as well. Make sure we're hitting that like button. Comment away. And please be sure to subscribe. It is free after, no charges to you. I love you guys. And I'll see you next time.